My name is Megan Etienne, and this is my story. Growing up, I didn't have the best relationship with my mother, and I was the rebellious one. I thought that my way was the right way, and it just really wasn't. I didn't know everything, and my father passed away when I was 8. He also passed away from cancer, just like my son. So growing up without my father, it was definitely hard because the reality is my mom had to be the mother and the father. She had to take care of us as best as she could. So I did, hang around the wrong friends, wrong crowd, seeking attention that I was not supposed to be getting, to be honest. And it failed me every time. It failed me every time. It's like nothing that I was able to do or get involved in was able to fill that void. So hanging out with the wrong crowd, as far as friends that I seen that they weren't trying to pursue much, and I didn't want to be caught up in that cycle because I've seen, some people around me. It's either they just ended up dead in prison, ended up just not just wanting to walk with the Lord and rebelling against the Lord. And I refuse to be another statistic. So looking back, just with everything that I've been through in life, like I mentioned prior, I was, hanging out with the wrong crowds, wrong friends, relationships, things like that. And I knew that I needed Christ because nothing was fulfilling. My friend called me to church and I went to her church, and the message just so spoke to me. It's like God was literally pulling me saying, come, just give it all to me. All that past trauma, all that weight, all that sadness, depression, whatever issues you were going through, give it to me. And it was a genuine calling. And I knew that I needed to give that to him because a lot of things I was carrying, it was just sitting there. And I knew that in order for me to be free, I have to release this off of my chest. And that's exactly what I did. So from high school, I graduated in 2009, and fast forward years later to 2017, that's when I gave birth to my son. And his dad and I were together for a few years, but after the birth of my son, we stayed together for a little while, but things just didn't work out. We went our separate ways, and that's okay. It happens. But he was there for his son, which I'm very thankful. He loved his son, and he was a great father. My little one, his name was Damien. And when he was 3, he was diagnosed with Wilms tumor, which is one of the #1 kidney cancers in kids ages 1 through 3. We immediately jumped into doing chemo. And my little one has had 5 surgeries. He's had a kidney removal. He's had multiple rounds of radiation. And he was my strength, for sure. And I truly believe that God allowed me to have a child for me to really understand what love is, for sure. He beat it the first time. It came back even more aggressive, and it got to the point where the doctor pretty much said there's nothing we can do. In that last moment, when he was getting pretty weak, he couldn't really talk much, but he had the strength to say, let's pray. And my mom and I and my son, we grabbed each other's hands and we prayed. We thank God for all that he is and all that he has done. And I told my son, I don't want you to hold on for mommy anymore. And in that moment, when Code Blue was called, I knew that the angel of the Lord was with me because even in that moment, God gave me the strength to pray for the children in that hospital, to pray for the parents that were going through the same thing that I was going through. I asked God to bless the hands of the staff, to strengthen them for the job that they do every day. And my son, God called him home. God called him home, and I'm so thankful to God for the strength that he has instilled in me, because when I wanted to die, God gave me that strength. And I will never forget, my son said, let's pray. So even now, when things are just so hard, that reminder is in my spirit. Let's pray. Let's pray. And I don't give up. because I've seen the goodness that God has done for me. He's still working for me, in me, and through me. And with my testimony, He gives me the strength to be vocal about it, because He allows me to touch others. Everyone has experienced grief in their own way, but there is no pain that is too great that God cannot heal, because truly He has given me joy in my heart that I can sit here and talk about something that personal and sensitive. But I know that it's giving God the glory He deserves for who He is and what He's done. And I'm just so proud of my son, because 100% I know that my baby's home. It was truly a blessing for me to go to church, because I really was surrounded by love, people encouraging me, praying for me. So when you're at home going through all of those burdens by yourself, there's no better place than to come to church. Leave it at the altar, give it to God. And it's the best thing you can do, because you are really surrounded by people who really want to pray for you and encourage you and let you know that you are not alone. Like, it's going to be okay, because it really is.